So look, when Drake sailed into the Pacific, he took the Spanish fleet completely by surprise. He captured their ships, he took all their maps, their letters, their journals, and he recorded everything in this diary.
So this...
But when he got back to England, Queen Elizabeth confiscated all of his charts and logbooks, including this one, and then swore his entire crew to silence.
Yeah, so this...
You see, Drake discovered something on that voyage, Sully. Something so secret and so valuable, they couldn't risk it getting out.
All right, Nate, just pretend for a minute that I don't really care about any of that stuff and cut to the chase, would you?
Man only interested in the climax. He must be a real hit with the ladies.
Never had any complaints.
Okay, then. I'll jump to the good part, just for you.
Ho, ho, ho.
Huh?
El goddamn Dorado.
He was onto something big, all right.
Does it say anything else?
Oh, so now you're interested, huh?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, no. Last page was torn out. I'm telling you, Sully. This is it. This is finally it.
Yeah. Only... we got one little problem.
Yes, that's what I said. It blew up. It sank. No, that's why we have insurance, right? Oh. Oh no, the camera? No, the camera's fine. Don't worry about the camera, no. Still as good as new.
Sully, the girl can hold her own. You should have seen her.
Fine. You go on out there and you tell her, we just found the lost city of gold. Maybe her producer can get it on the air
Oh,
tonight.
come on.
Nate, do you trust me?
More or less.
Good. Because we're gonna have every two-bit scumbag in the world racing us to this treasure unless we cut her loose right now.
You're a real gentleman, Sully.
I know. It stinks. She'll get over it.
No, I don't care for over budget. I mean, do you realize that this could be like the biggest story of the year? Hi. No, I don't trust him, okay? That's why we need to move fast. So just get me the camera crew, and I promise you that... Son of a bitch. Hey! Should have seen that one coming. Ugh.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. This is my brutal difficulty walkthrough, and we're moving on to Chapter 2. So my name's PersNikity. For those of you new to my channel, welcome. For those of you returning, glad you are, watching this series. Like I said, we're moving on to Chapter 2, and there's nothing that's actually threatening in this level here. So this level is meant to introduce you to Drake and Sully as characters, and it's supposed to show you kind of some of the puzzle-solving mechanics and the climbing mechanics, and there's no combat to worry about, so you can kind of let your guard down for a bit. Brutal difficulty is extremely tough, but so what I'm going to do in this video here is kind of introduce you to the difficulty and really just kind of talk about the game and why I decided to cover it. But as per usual, I don't talk during cutscenes. I want you to really enjoy the story this game has to offer. So here you go. Here's another cutscene.
Well?
I don't get it. According to this, we're right on top of the mark.
Maybe you're not reading that thing right. Let me see it.
No, this is the place.
There's nothing here, Nate. Another goddamn dead end.
Easy, Sully. Just relax. Let's take a look around.
So once you gain back control, we're going to have to do some climbing. So like I said, this level introduces us to the mechanics of the game. And then after a little bit, after a couple minutes or so, there's going to be one more short cutscene, and that's when we're really going to get into the bulk of the gameplay, where I'll be able to talk for like 7 or 8 minutes without being interrupted by the cutscenes. But so yeah, this is Uncharted Drake's Fortune, and crazy thing is, when I started my YouTube channel, first off, when I started my YouTube channel, this was the first game I did on my channel, and I actually started my channel as an achievement trophy guide channel, and so I basically got this game. This is the Nathan Drake collection, so this is the remastered version for PS4, And I made some trophy guide videos for the game because when I owned this game on PS3, I had platinumed the game, and so with it coming out, I figured there'd be a lot of new gamers that picked this up, and I wanted to make some walkthroughs for them so they could try to platinum this version. That went really well, really fun, and that's what kind of sparked my interest in the YouTube channel. I had so much fun making them. But after a while, I got kind of discouraged from making achievement and trophy guide videos because there's just so many channels on here that already kind of have a big market on that. So my videos were getting really overshadowed, and so I wanted to look for a different facet of games to cover, and that's when I stumbled across hardest difficulty walkthroughs. And this game, the remastered version, has brutal difficulty, which, like I said, we're going to get interrupted by one more cutscene, but I'll explain a little bit about what that difficulty is and how it really started what my channel is today.
What a warm and homey place, huh?
Well, not quite what you were expecting, huh?
Yeah. Where's all the damn gold?
This place was picked clean centuries ago.
No good limey pirate.
No, it wasn't Drake. Check this out. Looks like the Spanish got here before he did. What the hell, Sully?
Nate, I'm not looking for a lousy piece of tin. I'm up to my eyeballs in debt. I was really counting on this one.
Too many big bar tabs in Lima, I guess.
That and, well, just a few bad deals.
Yeah, well, I always told you to stay away from the bad guys. And the bad girls.
Yeah? Look who's talking.
What's that supposed to mean?
That reporter? I saw the way you were eyeing her.
Elena? Please. I snuffed any chance with her the second we ditched her on that dock.
All's fair in love and war, kid.
And what if you can't tell the difference?
Then, my friend, you are in big trouble.
Alright, so now we're going to really, like I said, get into the bulk of the gameplay. No more cutscenes to worry about, just good old-fashioned Nathan Drake gameplay. And so before the cutscene, I was talking about how this game kind of created what my channel is today. So my channel today focuses on making hardest difficulty walkthroughs, and the thing with this game was, when it originally came out on PlayStation 3, it only went up to crushing difficulty. And crushing can be tough, but for those of us that are really familiar with this game, and to give you some perspective on that, I've played this game probably more than 10 times from start to finish, so I know what I'm doing in the game, and for people like me, crushing ends up not being that challenging. And so when the remaster version came out, they introduced this new mode called Brutal. And I initially went in thinking this is going to be simple, crushing is simple, no problem. And I was absolutely wrong. Brutal difficulty is incredibly tough. You can take 1 to 2 bullets and you're dead. And that's really it. That's the only differentiating factor is how much damage you can take as Drake. Because the rest of the game, you know, obviously the climbing is the same. It really just comes down to combat. The enemies are... You're just basically much weaker. It's as realistic as it can get.
Like this thing is some kind of
and another thing is ammo is a bit scarcer. That usually tends to not be a problem. This isn't a survival horror game, so you never really have to worry about not having ammo, because usually what you can do is just pick up a new gun that you get off of a killed enemy. But it still has its number of challenges, and this, to this day, is probably the hardest game I've ever completed, in my opinion. For me personally as a gamer, it's either this or Gears of War 4 on Insane. But the point is, my channel was bouncing around a bit. I was having a hard time focusing on what I wanted to, or I was having a hard time trying to figure out what I wanted to focus my channel on, and I kind of had this thought that, you know, a lot of times to get all of the trophies or all of the achievements for games, you have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty. That's usually a standard achievement or trophy. And I would always do that. And then I kind of had this thought, like, why am I putting myself through all of this hell and not getting anything out of it? So that's when I thought, hey, what if I use the skills I pick up while playing these games on the hardest difficulty and share them with the gaming community via YouTube. And I know there's already a couple channels that do that, but it's not as big of a market because not as many people play the game on the hardest difficulty, which is understandable. Typically, it's not an enjoyable thing to do, but it is a rewarding thing to do. When you complete a game on the hardest setting, it really provides a sense of satisfaction, and this game is no different. If you can beat this game on brutal, you know, give yourself a pat on the back. I applaud you because, speaking from personal experience, it's pretty tough. But yeah, so what ended up happening was this was the first game I tried it out on. I made my hardest difficulty walkthrough, and unfortunately I was a bit late to the party. By the time I had come up with this idea, there was already a couple other channels that had done it. So my videos didn't get a huge view count. Actually, it's pretty minimal. But it was really fun, you know, and I felt like it was a good experience because it pushed me to my limits as a gamer. Like, I set out with this objective to make the walkthrough, and I did it. And that was just kind of a reward in itself. And then, you know, fast forward a few months and new games, or actually I think like a year, new games would come out, and I would stick to the script and play on the hardest difficulty, and that's kind of how my channel grew to what it is today. So that all can kind of be attributed to this game right here. And like I said, this level here is also introducing us to the puzzle solving mechanics. So like this is a really simple puzzle where there's 4 symbols littered throughout the room and you have to press them in the right order, and you get that order from Nathan Drake's diary, which is something you picked up at the very beginning of the game. And so yeah, for those of you new to my channel, or for those of you new to this series or anything like that, let me just go ahead and kind of introduce you to how I like to run things. Typically, what I'll do is I'll commentate on the gameplay that's unfolding before you. Like during the really difficult firefights and really tricky sections, I'll give you tips and tricks on how to get through those parts. But for times like this where there's really not a whole lot going on, this is something that you can get by with just watching how I do it. Like, chances are you're not even going to get stuck here. But if you do, or if you're just watching this for entertainment, there's nothing tricky here that's happening. And so what I like to do during these parts of the games is kind of treat my videos more like a podcast setting. So I just like to talk. A lot of people might not like that, so feel free to mute the video or find a different video. But that's what I feel like my channel is all about, is giving it some sort of personality. I tried doing no commentary walkthroughs for a bit, and it takes away the purpose of having a YouTube channel for me, because if I'm not commentating, I feel like I'm not really connecting with my audience, and that's a big part of why I run this channel. So, you know, if you want no commentary walkthroughs, I don't blame you. Sometimes I appreciate a no commentary walkthrough or playthrough, but that's not what you're going to find most of the time on this channel. On this channel, you're going to find me talking for hours on end. And hopefully that's something you can enjoy, and it's really something I'd encourage you to get along with. And, you know, leave your comments below. Anything I say in my commentary, feel free to write a response. If I ask any open-ended questions, feel free to leave an answer. My main objective with this channel, you know, this channel for me is just a big hobby, and I'd love it to be kind of like a community on YouTube of gamers who like to play or watch games be played on the hardest difficulty. But we're going to be coming to another cutscene in about a minute or so. And I just kind of want to end this video, or end the commentary. There's still a little bit to go, but with what this game means to me. This game is actually the reason I bought a PlayStation 3 when I was in high school. I went over to a friend's house and I saw this game, and I said, "What is Uncharted?" And he said, "Oh, it's kind of like Tomb Raider, but I don't really play it a lot." And I asked him if I could give it a try, and from the start I was hooked. I just fell in love with the game. I fell in love with the characters. I've been a lifetime fan of Naughty Dog. My first video game that I ever played was Crash Bandicoot 3. So already everything kind of fell into place for this game to be, you know, a prize on my shelf. And I really do just love everything about it. And the reason I'm going back and making another brutal difficulty walkthrough is because, like I said, my first one, I made it when I only had like 20 subscribers, and so my hope is now that I have a little bit of an audience, you guys might be interested enough to watch along and, like I said, leave some comments and communicate and anything like that.
Oh, man. The temple must have been built around this.
Around what?
statue. A gold statue.
A huge gold statue. And look here, these people, they're worshipping the damn thing. At least, I think they're people.
Of course. El Dorado, the Golden Man. Sully, it wasn't a city of gold. It was this. It was a golden idol.
Man, can you imagine what that thing would be worth now?
Look over here. Tracks. I bet the Spanish dragged it out on cut logs. We're 400 years late for this party.
So the trail's cold.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Son of a bitch.
Unless
Unless what?
we follow the tracks.
Alright, so we're pretty much nearing the end of the level. All you have to do here is walk along this path, and it'll lead you right into the next mission. And this video is going to end with a little short cutscene, but that's pretty much it, guys. This level's not very threatening, and in level 3, it's going to start off slow, but that's when we're really going to get into the combat during the latter half of that mission. But this is Uncharted Drake's Fortune. This is perhaps tied for my #1 favorite game of all time, but Uncharted is my favorite gaming franchise of all time. This game means so much to me. This is the game that I can play hundreds of times from start to finish and never get tired of it. This game just calms me down. Maybe not on Brutal, but in general this game calms me down, and I love it so much. And I hope you'll enjoy it too. I hope you stick around for the walkthrough. See you later. I'll see you in future videos.
I'll be damned.
Must have come up the river during flood season and gotten stuck. Let's check it out, huh?
Now, wait. Something about this feels kind of hinky.
Hinky. You act like you've never seen a German U-boat in the middle of the jungle before.
I'm being serious, Nate.
I tell you what, why don't you stay here? I'll check it out myself. I'll call you if I run into any Nazis.
Yeah, right. You do that.
Oh, wait. Hold on to this for me, will you? Okay. Looks like I'm gonna have to do this the hard way.